again. So this is the lecture video for judging philosophies. There are multiple different types of judging philosophies, and ultimately it's up to you as an individual to decide what judging philosophy is. There is no right or wrong judging philosophy unless it's somehow going to hurt the debate. And so let's get into a couple of these. And I'll talk about the pros and cons of each of these. So the first one is tabula rasa, or blank slate. This is a concept that comes from John Locke. John Locke believed that humans, when they are born, are a blank slate, or tabula rasa. And that if humans are a blank slate, that they will do anything that they want that fulfills their desires. What this means? John Locke believed that if people were not raised in society, they would not have a moral standing. So, for example, if I was a blank slate, a tabula rasa, and I was hungry, and I saw a child eating a sandwich, I would just walk over and take that child's sandwich and not care, because I value myself and my needs over anybody else, because I'm truly a blank slate and I don't understand what's right and wrong. You might think this is a little silly. Maybe humans are inherently nice, you think, or humans are inherently evil, you think. But tabula rasa is what John Locke believed humans to be. And how this functions as a judging philosophy is that you are a blank slate during the judging. If someone says something factually inaccurate, right? If someone says, I'm just trying to think of something, that deodorant makes you smell, and makes your body odor worse, right? Something factually not correct. You as the judge just accept it until they refute it. There is a lot of criticism of this judging philosophy. So the benefit, right, is that it is truly an equal debate. If you are functioning this way, then the debate is basically only considered what people say. There are a lot of downsides to this type of judging philosophy as well. One of the types of issues that comes up with this one is the fact that if someone is truly a blank slate, how do they know to judge anything? How do they know how to fill out a judging form? How do you know how to figure out anything? How do I understand the words that people are saying, right? I'm not truly a blank slate. So there's nothing truly tabula rasa about it. It's not an actual pure form. And second of all, should I not, as a judge, be wary of what is true and what is not? So if one person says, you're debating about minimum wage, and they say, well, if you increase the minimum wage, aliens will come down and attack us and kill everyone on Earth. And the other person's like, what? I'm not even gonna refute that. That's ridiculous. Tabula rasa me goes, well, he said that aliens were going to come down and destroy us if we increase the minimum wage to $16 an hour. So I'm going to side with the affirmative or the negative, whatever, right? That becomes an issue, right? There should be some level of reasoning and understanding that is required upon the affirmative and the negative, that I as a judge have to hold the debate to some standard. I remembered one debate back in the day that I did, my very first round I ever did of debate. We had to debate about Saudi Arabia. And this was back in the day where we weren't allowed to research or have access to the internet. And so me and my partner at the time just debated about Saudi Arabia, knowing nothing about Saudi Arabia. And the other team knew nothing about Saudi Arabia. And we ended up just having a big nothing burger about this debate topic, because neither of us knew anything about it. And the judge was like, hey, the leader of Saudi Arabia right now, this is his name. I am from that region. He wasn't Saudi Arabian, but he was Arabic. And so he was like, this is ridiculous that you two are debating something. You should read more news. And I agree with that call. But I just remember having, an issue that I agree with the judge. Like, we should know the things. And that's why we're allowed to research today in collegiate debate, and why I allow you to research and I expect you to research. But that is definitely something of value. Next is stock issues. So we already talked about stock issues, right? Those inherently planned, right? The idea of a judging philosophy of stock issues is that you take each stock issue at face value, you evaluate each of them, and whoever is winning more of these stock issues, whoever creates what's called a prima facie, which is a case on first look, right? Or on first look basis, after the debate, what points do I think that the affirmative is won, and what points do I think the negative is won? And usually they'll give me a judging criterion, which we'll talk about in the next, but these are abilities that someone will debate. And lastly is we can just explain our philosophy, right? So you can explain your philosophy and I can explain my philosophy. Each judge has their own unique set of philosophies and set of values, right? And so this can become a crucial part of the debate. What do you value in debate? Do you value liberty? Do you value research? Do you value accessibility? Do you value diversity? Do you value freedom? These are all different values that come into play in debate that you can choose which one is more important to you, right? So for example, when I write my judging philosophy, I always center accessibility in mind because I think debating should be for everyone, and there should not be anything that is exclusionary in debate to a certain set of people or a certain type of people. And so when an accessibility argument gets made, I value that argument a little bit more. But that's just me, right? That's my own bias that I exist as a judge. You probably have more biases that you have, right? Someone might say that their value is racial justice. Justice is a common one. Racial justice, right? That could be definitely a value, right? That you personally have, and I would personally have as well. That might not everyone value. Maybe you have cultural diversity as a value. Not everyone cares about cultural diversity, but you care about cultural diversity. So that's your judging philosophy. There are just values that people can have that explain why you care about a certain topic more than another person, right? And this is all based on our cognitive and perceptual biases. And we can put some of these aside, but I can't, for example, sit in a debate room and watch two people debate, and the way one person debates excludes, isolates, forces the other person to be uncomfortable during the debate. One of the values I have that is very strong is decorum. I think decorum is very important, and friendliness. That's personally a debate that I care a lot about in debate. If someone says, you're an idiot, you're stupid, if someone's rude, oftentimes in debate rounds, I'll see the other person roll their eyes and glare at the other person. I dock points for that. Not on an assignment, but in a debate round. I dock points in that, in my head, because I think that that is not accessible and rude. And by making the other person upset, you're making debate harder to be accessed. So that's something I care about, right? Maybe you don't care about that. Maybe some people are like, I like a rude debater. I want a debater to be rude. It's a competition. Be rude, be ruthless, go for it. That's some people's attitude. But personally, I like friendliness. Just explain your philosophy to some extent, right?